You're listening to Music Tectonics.
Welcome back to Music Tectonics, where we go beneath the surface of music and tech. I'm Shaylee Ankenbrook, Music Tectonics' conference planner at Rock Paper Scissors, the PR firm that specializes in music innovation and music technology. We've got one more report from NAMM, the annual trade show for musical instruments, gear, software, pro audio, and event tech. When we were at the trade show looking for new musical inventions, the Cicada by Physical Synthesis really stood out. Eleanor Rust, marketing director here at Rock Paper Scissors, got a demo from CEO and founder Spencer Topel, then sat down with him and CMO Alex Prignon to learn more. Here's Eleanor at the Physical Synthesis booth.
This is Eleanor. I'm back on the trade show floor at NAMM, and I'm talking with two guys from Physical Synthesis. If you could introduce yourself to our listeners.
Yeah, I'm Spencer Topel. I'm the founder and CEO of Physical Synthesis.
And my name is Alex. I'm in charge of marketing and community.
Welcome. I have to say my attention was totally captured by these beautiful objects that are the cicada, that make up the cicada. Can you describe the cicada for someone who's never seen it before, just in a few sentences?
That's pretty hard to do. We purposely made cicada to look completely new and different, and part of that was born out of the function, the need to drive these wings or bridges with these transducers, which have a specific kind of particular cylindrical shape. And the soundboards are where the sound is received, and that's kind of what makes it look the way it is. Finally, the items are kind of like small modules, so they're like little components that you put on a table or a platform or something, and they serve both a function to be able to expand the number of components you have in that set, but also acoustically isolate them from each other. So every part of the system is really designed with precise acoustics and precise acoustic control, so that the transmitter and receiver, where you generate the sounds and the vibrations and where they're received, it only happens through the bridge.
So where does Cicada fit in the ecosystem for just making sounds? It looks unique, it sounds unique, but what is that bringing to makers, to creators of music?
So I come from an experimental music and art background. I was a professor at Dartmouth College for 10 years, and through that time I started really looking more seriously at the connections and relationships between design, art, and sound. So how can we make works that are really fusing these things together? A kind of really transformative moment for me was working with Sue Sunny Park, a sculptor based out of Dartmouth. We created a piece called Capturing Resonance for the De Cordova Museum in near Boston. That work ended up really defining a whole trajectory of work that Sunny created around plexiglass and chain link fence. And
for sound creation as part of the sculpture?
Yeah, so what we did was we drove the sculptural parts with bass transducers, with really powerful bass transducers, which caused them to move. And when the light hit these lenses, it scattered all over the space.
So sound and light and just all the physics of waves, it sounds like.
Exactly. And we were also experimenting with holosonic audio spotlight speakers, which shine ultrasonics onto plexiglass and then reflect it down. So it's almost as if the sculptures were emitting sound was the effect.
Wow.
So coming out of that experience, I really just felt like, okay, this is where I want to go with my work. I really want to find ways to, connect design, connect visual aesthetics to how we make sound. And I think invariably I ended up in instrument design. And I think to answer your question succinctly, which I haven't yet, Cicada lives as kind of both an extension of, I think, this explosion of really resurgence of modular synths and kind of experimental synthesizers for personal pleasure. As well, we were surprised to find out, and Alex can talk more about this, but a lot of clients that we ended up selling to the system to and customers are creating sound design, sound scores, Foley, film scores. They really love this tool because it gives them such a precise and expressive and playful way to come up with new sounds, which is really their cachet. How they define themselves from other designers.
Right. Following on that, I'd love to hear from Alex more about how people are using Cicada and creating new sounds. Are there new genres emerging? Are there genres of musical creators who are particularly drawn to Cicada?
Right. Well, that's actually a good bridge based on what Spencer just talked about of who's using Cicada today. But I think a core element that gathers everybody together is that true aspect of touch and how people engage with the system. So regardless of having, somebody very focused on synthesizers and modular versus a TV composer looking for very unique type of sounds, that one element that gathers them all together is that physical gathering or like physical aspect of engaging with the instrument. So that's really important to me from that point of ecosystem that you brought up before. But yeah, in terms of application, definitely tons in that sound scoring, TV, sound design sphere, just because you can do so much with Cicada at a very precise level. So we've got a lot of people looking for unique, real ways to generate their music and sound. And then on the other side of the spectrum, the big experimentalist, as I call them. So when it comes to synthesizers, Cicada can really open up big palettes that those guys are looking for. So broad spectrum.
Are there any artists who've really surprised you with how they've been able to push Cicada?
Yeah, we actually had a few of them come around to NAMM yesterday. So Ben Jordan, we worked with. We kind of reached out to him a while ago to say, would you be interested in reviewing? He does these amazing instrument reviews and really deep dives into how the technology works, as well as I think creative uses of it. And we didn't know what would happen, but he just produced this amazing video about our work, and we're really grateful. So Ben is a good example. Heinbach just recently created an album with Cicada and is working on another project with it. There's an artist in Colorado named David Soto, Colorado Modular. David just does amazing expressive performances with it. An artist in Montreal, Maison. He does a lot of like drumming and synthesizer drumming projects with his gorgeous work. Black Moth in, is it Baltimore?
Maryland.
Maryland area. He's also, we're just a big fan of what he does, and I'm sure I'm missing a few others, but those are a few that come to mind that are just incredible people. I would say Richard Devine stopped by yesterday. He was one of our earlier champions of the instrument, and he has this amazing video where he just doesn't do any modular, which is kind of unusual because he's usually like in front of these like beautiful, blingy, beautiful, kind of Eurorack setups. He just does a thing with Azam Bell's instruments, our instrument, I think it was the Soma Field Kit. It's just so beautiful, and I was like, I wish he would just make an album with that.
Yeah.
So we've been pretty lucky to work with great artists.
Yeah. Sure. Do you feel that physical synthesis is creating sounds that lead to new creation, new genres, or are you creating the sounds because somebody wants them already? What's leading your innovation?
I think what's leading our innovation is, for lack of a better description, sonic creativity, the desire to create new sounds and find new ways to generate sound. I think culturally in the company we feel very much that precision, excellence, quality, craft of our devices will lead to better expression. And I'm personally a big fan of, and recently Vangelis passed away, but
yes.
I'm a really big fan of the Blade Runner soundtrack and just the attention to detail in the sound aspects of the synthesis. And I think the 60s and 70s were even the 50s to that matter, but especially the 60s and 70s was such an explosive, amazing moment for synthesizers, not just in the tech, like the hardware, but in the sound creation and the exploration of new sound. So I think that's what really drives us.
Oh, fantastic. So what's next for physical synthesis?
Yeah, so physical synthesis right now is developing a new module called Nymph. It's going to be a Eurorack kind of encapsulation, if you will, or kind of permutation of our device that's a Eurorack module compatible with that setup. And the idea is, I think, twofold. One is that some of our customers have really asked us for a more portable, less studio benchtop version of our system, and others they love the modules so much that they say, can you please put something in this factor? So that's really the next thing we're working on.
Oh, fantastic. And when are you planning to launch?
Right, so that's really in the making. We were hoping to bring this to NAMM for this year, but it's going to be for a little later this summer, which was a great occasion for us to showcase that to artists here and gather some feedback, and we feel very excited to bring that to market soon. So we're shooting for September right now. We'll start making some announcements.
Well, maybe we'll see Nymph at NAMM 2023.
We'll be there for sure. Yeah, I think we're coming back.
And how can our listeners learn more about physical synthesis and Cicada?
Absolutely. So obviously in the online verse, as I call it, we've got a lot of really beautiful artist videos on our YouTube channel.
That's definitely something that captured my interest when I was looking at your website.
Awesome. I appreciate that. So I would invite everybody to head there. So it's at Physical Synthesis, pretty basic. We've got a lot of other more like granular type of content on our Instagram, just because we love also like resharing what people do with Cicada and not only pushing our own content. So we big advocate of celebrating people's work. So there's a lot in there to capture, and yeah, we'll be talking about this new model in the upcoming weeks and months.
Fantastic. Alex, Spencer, thank you so much for introducing me to the Cicada and physical synthos.
Thanks to you, Eleanor.
Thanks for listening to this special episode of Music Tectonics, recorded at the 2022 NAMM show. There's more to come from NAMM, so if you like what you hear, please subscribe on your favorite podcast app. We have new episodes every week. Did you know that you can dig deeper into all our episodes with the show notes at musictectonics.com? That's also where you'll find the latest about our annual conference and a sign-up for our newsletter. Everything we do explores the seismic shifts that shake up music and technology, the way the Earth's tectonic plates cause quakes and make mountains. Connect with Music Tectonics on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Bye-bye.
You're listening to Music Tectonics.